So grab your teepee roll. So today's class is definitely geared more to be more of an intermediate class, but I'll throw in some beginning and advanced options as well. So choose whatever makes your little heart happy. So go ahead and start in your back. And we're gonna place your teepee roll in between your inner thighs, kind of like if you had a spitball. And then we'll reach the arms down by the sides. We're gonna start with some bridges. Well, actually, before we start with bridges, let's start with some breath work. So we'll inhale through your nose, and then exhale, blow all the air out of your belly, drawing your belly button in towards your spine. Lift your pelvic floor up to meet your belly button. Inhale, feel the rib cage expand side to side. Exhale, blow all the air out. Giving that teepee roll just a little bit of a squeeze at the end of the exhale to start to warm up the inner thighs a bit too. And one more big breath in. Exhale, blow all the air out. And then we'll go ahead and bridge. So we'll press through your heels, squeeze your glutes, and lift your hips up to the side. Inhale, pause with your hips lifted. Exhale, slowly articulate back down, one vertebrae at a time so your tailbone's the last thing to touch. And as you lift and lower your hips, I just want you to think about pressing in on the teepee roll, feeling the activation from the inner thighs and the pelvic floor. Think of peeling your spine off the mat, one vertebrae at a time as you lift your hips up. Inhale, pause at the top. Exhale, slowly articulate back down, one vertebrae at a time. And again, exhale, lift. Think about pulling your heels towards your bottom and your bottom towards your heels. And then soften the chest and shoulders as you articulate back down. Good. One more time. Pause with your hips lifted. See if you can think about pulling your rib cage in just a little bit more so you really feel the upper abdominal stay active. Press down through the hands and elbows. And we're just going to do little pulses squeezing in on that teepee roll. So press in and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and use little exhales. Each time you squeeze in to recruit the pelvic floor and the inner thigh muscles as well. Good. For two more. And then slowly articulate all the way down, lowering your pelvis down to the mat. And then we're going to take your teepee roll and just move it so it's underneath your right foot. So have it like turned on its side. And then the roll's underneath my foot, my left foot's still on the ground, right foot's on the teepee roll, and we're gonna bridge up from there, which you're gonna just press into your left foot so that your right leg is really just being spotted by the teepee roll. So it's kind of like a single leg bridge, but with the foot a little bit lower, it makes it a little bit more challenging for the left glute muscle. So just think if the teepee is there for love and support, but you really want to be doing the work, with your glutes and hamstrings. Exhale, lift up, focus on doing the work with that left heel. We're doing our best to keep the right hip lifted at the same height as the left the whole time. Exhale, lift, and inhale back down. And again, and back down. And last one, we're gonna pause with your hips lifted. Float your right leg up to tabletop and then tap your foot back to the teepee. Lift it up and tap it down. And each time you draw your leg up, give me a big exhale, drawing the abdominals in towards the spine so that nothing is moving except that right leg. Good, one more time here. And then set your foot back down on the teepee roll and lower your hips all the way down. And we'll switch legs. So slide that roll over to your left foot. Right foot's gonna be on the floor. Left foot's up on the teepee roll. Press through that right heel, bridge your hips up, and then lower your hips back down. Exhale to lift. And inhale, lower. And I want you to think about leading with your pubic bone as you lift up to help keep your pelvis a little bit more neutral here. And then remember, the teepee roll is just there for love and support. The right leg is the one doing all the work. Trying to keep that left hip lifted at the same height as the right the whole time. Now we'll pause with the hips lifted. Float the right leg up. By right leg, I mean your left leg up to tabletop. Tap the toe down and exhale, lift up. Inhale, tap down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Do your best to keep both hips lifted at the same height the whole time, but especially that left hip. See if you can lift your hips up a little bit higher as you draw your rib cage in a little bit tighter. Last one here. Pause with that foot down and lower your hips all the way down. From here, we're gonna move the roll to between your ankles. Give me a big squeeze at the ankles and then extend your legs. We're gonna dorsiflex the feet, reach the legs long, and send the arms all the way up overhead here for a roll up. So we'll inhale, bring your hands over your face. Exhale, nod your chin towards your chest, and slowly roll up with control. Pausing when your arms and legs are parallel to each other, and then exhale, scoop to the belly, and articulate back down so your head's the last thing to touch. Inhale, hands come over your face. Exhale, nod your chin to your chest, and slowly roll up with control, no momentum. Feel the core contract as you fold over your legs, and then articulate back down. See if you can go just a little bit slower this time. Taking the arms all the way up overhead. Inhale, exhale, nod your chin towards your chest. See if you can peel up even more slowly than when you went down. Rounding through that spine. And again, rolling back. Sequentially articulating down one vertebrae at a time. So your head's the last thing to touch. Last one, good news, we're gonna pause in the seated position. So roll back up, see if you can do your slowest roll up yet. Make that core work super duper hard. And then sit up nice and tall. Now from here, we're gonna grab your teepee roll and just set it, you can just set it on your mat in the middle, but I'm just gonna turn towards you so you can see a little bit better. So we're gonna set the roll just so it's either on the outside or the inside of your ankle of your right leg. Left leg's gonna be bent, and then you can lean back on your arms just a little bit here. So I have the teepee roll right next to my ankle. You're gonna squeeze the quad of your right leg, lift your leg up over the teepee roll and set it down. Lift it up and tap it down. So the up is the most important part of the movement. So try not to fast forward through that. And what you'll start to feel is that quadricep muscle on top of your thigh working a lot harder than it wants to. And I want you to think about drawing your kneecap up to your thigh the whole time. So you're feeling that quadricep muscle working. Try and lengthen the toes long, work the bottom of the foot here as well. Try and keep your core pulled in tight so you're not rounding in your low back. Good, one more time. Pause with the foot hovered right above the teepee roll. Pulse it up and up and up. Good, hang in there. Try and lengthen that knee a little bit more. For 3 and 2 and 1, and set that foot down. And then we'll do the other leg, yeah? So scoot the teepee roll over just a little bit, switch legs. So now left leg is bent, or excuse me, left leg is straight, right leg is bent. Point the toes, squeeze the quad, lift the foot up, and tap it down on the other side. Lift it up and tap it down. Good. So even when you're engaging the quad on this side of the leg, we're still thinking about drawing the kneecap up the thigh, trying to keep the knee completely extended here to work the quadricep muscle. I guess muscle group, probably more accurate. Try and sit up nice and tall through the spine here. Even if you're leaning back, that's okay. But still think about keeping the abdominals engaged so the pelvis doesn't move. One more time, pause with your foot right above that teepee roll. Pulse the foot up and up and up. Whew, feeling the burn. Good, hang in there for 3 and 2 and 1, and set that leg down. Okay, grab your teepee roll in your hands, and we're gonna lay back on your back for some abdominal work. Ooh, feeling those quads. Good morning, body. So hold your teepee roll right overhead, and we'll take your legs up to tabletop, and we're gonna go into single leg stretch. So we'll lift the head and chest up, reach the legs out on the diagonal, and extend one leg out. Big exhale here, and then switch, and switch. So you wanna use that exhale each time you switch legs to deepen the abdominal contraction. And think about pausing your legs in the bent and extended position for just like a split second, like if someone was taking a picture. That way your muscles really have to do the work to stabilize and hold. Good, reach those toes long. We'll do one more on each leg. Bring both legs in, lower the head and chest down, and lift back up for double leg stretch. So both legs are gonna reach out as your arms go overhead, and then the arms and legs come back in. Arms and legs reach away, and arms and legs return. Inhale out, exhale in. Inhale out, and exhale in. Now, if you want to make this a little bit nicer, you can send your toes towards the sky. And if you want to make it more challenging, the lower your legs go towards the floor, the more challenging it's going to feel. Good, one more here. And exhale, bring it in. And lower your head and chest back down. Okay, now just hold the roll with your right hand. Reach your left arm out into a T. Well, I guess both arms into a T. And then extend both legs to the sky. So we're gonna lower one leg down, lift your head and chest up, pass that TP roll around to the other side, and then bring your leg up as you lower your head and chest. Now switch legs. So leg lowers, lift the head and chest up, and everything comes back down. Exhale, lift and foot. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. Good. Try and really get those legs extended, so you have to make your quads work here too. Reach those toes long. Try and find that perfect L shape each time you lift the head and chest up. Good. We'll do one more on each side. Last one. And lower everything back down. And then we're going to roll onto your side for some sideline work. So we're going to hold the TP roll in your top hand. We want to have the hips stacked, the knees stacked, and the feet stacked for some clamshells. So we're going to do a little like side plank situation over here to get your bottom obliques working. So just hold the TP roll in your top hand, however is comfortable for you. Reach your arm up to the sky, slide both shoulder blades down your back. We're going to lift your knee up for a clam as you reach your hand straight forward in front of you. And then lower the knee as you lift your arm. So we'll exhale, lift up. And inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. And I want you to imagine there's like a string coming out the crown of your head, and it's pulling your head away from your tailbone. Yeah, ooh, that was good. So find the length of the spine, stay lifted at the waist. Want to start to feel this in that glute med muscle on the top of the hip, those hip external rotators. Good. Now pause with the knee up and the hand down, and we're going to just pulse the knee up and back, up and back. Try and slide both shoulders down away from your ears. Stay lifted out of that bottom shoulder. For 3 and 2 and 1, and reset. Now from here, we're just going to lift your feet up off the floor. So thighs are down, feet are lifted. I know it's a super awkward position. Feet stay still, lift the knee up as you bring the hand down, and then switch. So now what you should feel is your bottom glute med working, your bottom hip external rotators, in addition to the top one. Try and stay lifted at the waist so your spine is staying straight. Good fix. Sink both shoulders down, engage those lats on the back of the body underneath the armpits. Now pause with the knee up and the hand down, and pulse the knee up and up and up. Trying to stabilize the upper body while you move the lower body. Keep those feet lifted for 2 and 1. Relax those legs down, and then place your TP roll between your ankles. And we're gonna extend your legs and then lay all the way flat on your side. So you can either have your bottom arm bent, or you can have your bottom arm extended, whatever is more comfortable for your neck and shoulders. But I want you to have shoulders stacked and your hips stacked. And we're gonna try and slope the waistline up off the mat so there's a little bit of space there by reaching that top leg down. Now from here, see if you can lift both legs up off the floor, pressing the ankle bones together, and then lower the legs back down. Exhale, squeeze and lift, and lower with control. So we're getting a little bit of spinal lateral flexion in here. Think about shortening the space between your rib cage and your hip bones. We want to feel the muscles on both the front and the back of the torso working here. They're working together. Good, now here's where it gets fun. So pause with the legs lifted and see if you can pulse both ankles together. So bring your top leg to your bottom leg and your bottom leg to your top leg. Good, try and relax the neck a little bit. For 3 and 2 and 1, and lower those legs down. Nice work. Bend those legs in, grab your TP roll. From here, we're gonna roll onto your belly for some prone work. So I'm gonna have the TP roll just on its side so you can see the hole. And then you wanna have it be like directly underneath your face so you could rest your nose down on it if you wanted to. We're gonna bring the arms down by your hips with your palms facing the floor. So thumb is out, pinky fingers pulled in, and I want you to think of tucking your tail under so that you can squeeze your glutes back here, protect your low back. So your nose is right over the TP roll. Reach the hands away from your shoulders. Lift the head and chest up for a little swan, and then lower back down. So we're gonna inhale, lift up, and exhale, lower back down. Inhale, squeeze and lift, and lower. Think about lengthening the crown of your head away from your shoulders. So we're not necessarily crunching behind the neck. You want to avoid creating any kind of wrinkles behind the neck here. I like to imagine someone is like holding my fingertips and they're pulling and lifting me up here and back down. And again, lift and hold and lower. And lift and hold. Now we're going to pause, squeeze your glute, and lift one leg up off the floor, and then lower that leg down and switch legs. So as you lift, do your best not to change the shape at your low back. We want the low back to stay stable and still so that the work is coming from the glute muscles. So you're gonna feel your probably whole back working here, but probably your low back. That's okay, as long as it's not ouch painful. Keep reaching the hands away from your shoulders, lengthen through the neck. Good, nice job. One more on each leg. And then we'll go ahead and rest everything down. That's a good time. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and press ourselves back into a little child's pose stretch. Reach the tailbone down. See if you can walk the hands away from your sits bones. Little stretch for those back muscles. Let your tailbone fall heavy towards your heel. 2 heels. And then from here, we're going to come up into 4-point kneeling. So on your hands and knees, and work on a little bit of balance work. So we're going to hold the TP roll in your left hand. And then let's have your right hand on the floor, left knee on the floor, and straighten your left leg back behind you. Yeah. So slide that left arm up so it's right next to your hip, and we want your palm to be facing down. So the back of your wrist is pointed towards the sky. Stretch the right leg back behind you and try and float your leg up off the floor. Now from here, we're gonna flex your foot and bend your arm and leg together, and then extend your arm and leg together. So as you bend your arm, focus on squeezing the bicep muscle in the front. And as you extend it, I want you to feel that tricep on the back. Think about squeezing your shoulder blade back and together towards the opposite back hip pocket. We want to try and keep the knee lifted at the same height the whole time to feel the hamstring as you curl your heel in towards your bottom. Now, if you're like me and your elbows hyperextend, try and soften that right elbow just a little bit. Good, one more here. Pause with the arm and leg extended. And then we're gonna reach your arm and leg out into a T. And then bring your arm and leg back down by your side. Yes, arm and leg open into a T. And arm and leg come back in. So as your arm and leg open, you should feel your obliques kick on a lot more on that right side. Try and continue to pull the shoulders away from the ears. Good, last one, fight for your balance. And then go ahead and rest everything down, and we'll switch sides. Yeah, so I'm just gonna turn around. Perfect, so now we'll hold the TP roll in your right hand. Extend your left leg back behind you. Find your balance between your left hand and your right knee, and then lift the arm up so your palm is facing the floor. Perfect. And float your leg up off the ground. Flex the foot, bicep curl the arm as you bend your leg, and then extend your arm and leg out in opposition. So arm and leg bend, and arm and leg extend. Remember, as you curl your arm in, actively squeeze the bicep. As you extend your arm, actively squeeze your tricep. We want to try and keep the knee lifted at the same height the whole time, so that as the heel comes in, we're feeling the hamstring on the back of the thigh. And I want you to think about pulling your heel as close to your bottom as possible. So you're really trying to get that hamstring engagement. Good, one more time here. Pause with the arm and leg extended. Open your arm and leg into a T, and then bring everything back in nice and tight. Arm and leg reach out. Feel the left oblique kick on, and arm and leg come back in. Reach the hand and the toes away from each other, and back in. Last two. Reach them out, out, out. Keep the core pulled in tight. And last one. And rest everything down. Very good. So from here, we'll go into your side leg work on the other side. So lay on the opposite side with the hips stacked, the knees stacked, elbows right under your shoulders. We're going to hold that TP roll in your top hand. Reach your top arm up to the sky. Keep the heels glued together. Bring the arm down as you lift your knee up, and then lower back down. Exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Now we want to bring the knee up with control. I like to think about pressing my hip forward as I press my knee to the sky. Helps me feel a little bit more of those hip external rotators on the back of the hip. Try and stay lifted out of that bottom shoulder, so it's like you're doing a perfect side plank. Use your breath, exhale down, and inhale back up. Now we're gonna pause with the hand down and the knee up, and pulse your knee up and back, up and back. Try and stabilize that pelvis. Continue to draw both shoulders away from your ears. I kind of feel like I'm like, here, you need some TP? Two, and one more. Lower the knee, reset the arm. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but lift your feet up off the floor. So feet are lifted. We'll lift your top knee up, and then lower the knee as you reach that arm to the sky. So you should feel that bottom glute, the back of the hip, and the hip external rotators probably working more than you feel in the top leg. And that is okay. See if you can lift the rib cage up just a little bit, like there's someone poking you in the waist. You're trying to avoid their poke. Exhale, lift. And inhale back down. Lift it up. And back down. Last one. Pause with the knee lifted. Reach the arm down. Pulse the knee up. And up. And up. Good. Hang in there. For 3. And 2. And 1. And lower that leg down. Place the TP roll between the ankle bones. And lay on your side for our side lying double leg lift. Wild TP roll over here. Okay, so you can either have your bottom arm bent, or you can have your top arm extended, whatever is more comfortable for your neck and shoulders. But we're gonna have your hands pressed right in front of your chest. Shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. Reach that top leg down to try and create that little mouth pull size space at your waist. And we're gonna lift both legs up and then lower both legs back down. So we'll exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Think of sinking both shoulders away from your ears as you lift your legs up and lower with control. Now we want to think about squeezing both the front and the back of the body at the same time for this double leg lift, so that we get the two halves of our body working together. Keep reaching those legs away from your head. Find the length through the spine, even on your side here. Good. One more time. Pause with your legs lifted. Do little pulses, pulse the ankles together. Bring your top leg to your bottom leg and your bottom leg to your top leg. Good. For 3 and 2 and 1, and relax those legs down. Bend your legs in, grab your teepee roll, and then go ahead and set it on its side one more time. Kind of right in the middle of your mat, between your hands. We're gonna go into some push-ups here, but we're gonna use the teepee roll as like our ruler for how deep we're gonna go. So you can be on your knees, or if you're feeling really strong, you can be up on your feet, but we wanna find a straight line from the crown of your head to your knees. We're gonna pin the elbows back by your sides for a tricep push-up, tap your chest to the roll, and then exhale, come back up. Lower back down, and exhale up. Now, if you feel like the teepee roll is in your way, you can always move it up a little bit higher so it comes to your face. You'll get a little bit more depth. Remember, you can always come to your feet to make things more exciting. Inhale down and exhale back up. Try and squeeze your shoulder blades back and together here so that we're not shrugging up and using the upper tracts. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Resting for just a second. Now we're going to take your hands a little bit wider. So I like to have like my little fingers hanging off the edge of my mat. And we're going to do a chest push-up this time. So this time the elbows are going to go wide as you tap your chest to the roll, and then exhale to come back up. Inhale, send the elbows wide. Exhale, come up. So as you lower and lift here, we want to feel the pec muscles at the front of the chest and shoulders. You'll also still get a little bit of bicep and tricep action in here too. Good. Try not to hold your breath when it gets tough. Keep that head pulled up and in line with the rest of your spine. Last 1. And sit yourself back in that child's pose stretch one more time. If you turn your palms up towards the sky here and really sit your weight between your chest, you get a nice big stretch in your lats underneath the armpits. Good. And then from here, you can just set your teepee roll off to the side, and we're going to lay down on your back and do a little stretching. Yeah. So let's hug your right knee in towards your chest first, and then extend your left leg long. And I want you to really feel like the crease at the front of your hip as you draw the knee in towards your chest. Now from here, we're holding right knee with your left hand. Pull your knee across your body towards your left shoulder, trying to keep your right hip anchored on the floor so you feel that nice big stretch in the glute max on the back of the hip. Think of sending your exhale into the glute muscles. With each exhale, deepening that stretch just a little bit more. Good. From here, grab behind your right thigh or calf and extend your leg to the sky for a hamstring stretch. You want to make sure you're either grabbing behind your hamstring, calf, or ankle. Just make sure you don't grab on behind your knee. A lot of like veins, nerves, and arteries that pass through there. And again, same thing. With each exhale, see if you can relax into the stretch a little bit deeper. Think about sinking your right hip down and away from your head to square your pelvis off. Good. And last on our stretching agenda here is going to be that piriformis. So we're going to bend your left leg, cross your right ankle over your left knee like the number 4, dorsiflex your foot, pull your toes to your shins, press your knee open with your right hand. If you feel a great stretch in your right hip, stay there. For a deeper stretch, hug that left leg in towards you. And I like to use my right elbow to press my right knee open as I pull the legs in for a deeper stretch in the hip. Yeah, and then if you rock your hips just to like maybe 2 inches to the left, it'll square your pelvis off and you will stretch a little bit deeper too. Good, use that exhale to relax into the stretch. And then we'll go ahead and do the whole dance on the other side. So hug the left knee in towards your chest. Sink the right leg down heavy on the floor. Really feel the crease at the front of the hip here. And then hold your knee with your right hand, pull it across your body towards the opposite shoulder. So left knee towards right shoulder. You're trying to keep your left hip anchored on the floor as much as possible. Think about really sinking the left hip down like you're trying to square the pelvis off to feel that stretch a little bit deeper as well. And then let's grab behind the hamstring or the calf or ankle and stretch your left leg up to the sky. Stretch out that hamstring. Again, just like on the other side, make sure you're either grabbing behind the hamstring or the calf or ankle. Think about that left hip dropping towards your foot. So instead of having the hip hiked out to the side, sink it down, try and square your pelvis off. Using those exhales to draw the leg in a little bit closer. Good. And then we'll go straight into that figure four stretch. So bend the right leg, cross your left ankle over your right knee, press the knee open with your left hand as you flex the foot, so toes to shin. And then if you feel a great stretch, stay here for a deeper stretch. Hug that right leg up. Try and press your knee open with your elbow. And keep flexing the toes towards the shins. Sinking into that stretch with each exhale. Good. And then let the right leg fall heavy on the floor. Go ahead and roll onto your side and use your arms to sit yourself up here. We're going to sit in a little crisscross applesauce position, however is comfortable for you here. Take a nice big inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, open the arms. Clasp your hands behind your back. Pull down, open up in the chest and shoulders. Your hands might hit the floor, that's okay. Try and lift your heart center up to the sky. Inhale, float those arms back up overhead. Exhale, draw the arms down right in front of your heart center. And give yourself a little round of applause.